Good morning. I'm assuming we're going to drop this on a morning. I don't know. This is our first episode. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's up to you. What day, what morning, what time?
Exactly. Yeah. So hello to everybody that is potentially going to listen to this, I guess. I don't know. All two of us probably that are here right now. This is the Chafing at the Aid Station podcast. Brand new. We're excited to put this out to the world. It's going to be a new experience, in a way, a new experience for us. We've got some other stuff that we've talked about on other podcasts. I won't name any names right now. Maybe later on after we get a few followers.
Drop a line.
Yeah. But my name is Matt, or Spicy Matt. And with me today is other Matt, new Matt, Jog of the Hut, Jog of the Runner.
Run of the Hut.
Or Mild Matt.
And for the record, we did not come up with those nicknames ourselves. That would be lame.
Just wrong. You can't come up with your own nickname.
No. And together we are?
The Salsa Bros.
No, we did come up with that piece.
Yeah. Well, you came up with it. I did not.
Yes.
I wish I was that clever. But anyways, so this podcast will be presented by the Salsa Bros, primarily. Today, we're going to talk about one of our recent races that is recent enough that we're both still sore from it.
Yep, hobbling around.
I'm not going to go into too much detail yet. Basically, it was the Shawnee Hills Trail Race. For those of you that aren't from here, we're from Southern Illinois. It is, in fact, hilly in our area. Most people think of Illinois and they think flat. They have some different races. So they have a 100-mile ultra race, a 100-kilometer race, a 50-kilometer race, and then the one that we did, which was the half marathon race. It's not technically a half marathon, although Mild over here did do a half marathon.
I had to. It was my first half, and it's a thing with me. Like, I can't say I've done a half marathon unless I've done a half marathon. Now, somebody else, it was, what did it come out to? Like 12.4?
12.33 or 3.6, depending on your GPS.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, not mine. Not shout out Garmin. But no, that's, it's just a thing with me. Like, I can't, hey, some people are fine. Like, it's labeled a half marathon. They did it. Great. Because it was my first, had I done one before, I would have been fine with just being done. But because it was my first one, I felt like I had to earn that badge.
I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. This was my, let's see. This is the second year that I've done this one. Different race directors this year versus last year. Both were very good. Didn't have any issues there. Besides that, I've done one other trail half marathon, which was actually longer. It was like 13.8 is what my watch registered at. And then I've done 2 road half marathons. Yeah, 2 road ones. We're not experts by any means.
Definitely not me.
If you can't tell already. But we're striving to better ourselves and to be better. So I guess we'll just start. That's kind of the what is it. Goes through the Shawnee Forest down here. Starts at Camp Onnesonk, which is a church camp down in our area. What were your expectations coming into this, Mild? I know we had some concerns that we like to joke about a lot, but
yeah. So the concerns first were death. That's always the first concern.
Yeah, the pre-race video does not make you feel good about that one either, does it? Talking about all the venomous
timber
rattlers
and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely doesn't put your mind at ease. But no, I'm not a small guy by any means. I used to run. So after my oldest kid was born, before my youngest was, I ran. And then the youngest came along and the wheels fell off. Like, it maintained for a little bit, and then life and excuses just got in the way. And so I keep joking that you're a bad influence. You talked me into doing this. And so like I no training whatsoever somehow. And I always said, you can ask my wife back, even when we were running, I did a sprint triathlon and I always said, I have zero desire to run a marathon or a half marathon. I hate running. Like there are aspects of it I enjoy, but then I got to a point where it's like, okay, I don't love this. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe not. And so I'd always said, like, I have no desire to do a marathon or a half marathon because I get bored. So to me, that's the worst part about running is just the boredom of just like running on a treadmill is even worse. So somehow though, you talked me into this, and at probably some of the worst shape I've ever been in, you pressured me and talked me into doing this. And I don't know how, but you did. You succeeded. And so I started training like 6 weeks ago, and doing, basically hikes. And that was my intention going in. And I think this was a good one. You had 12 hours to complete it. So it's like, okay, I've got 12 hours to go 13 miles. Like I can hopefully do this. And so the training leading up to it. So kind of joking, all jokes aside, like, yeah, that was the goal. The goal for me was just finish. Like that was the going into it, just finish it and live.
Yeah, that's the big one, and live. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about trail is that everybody is going to walk or hike or power hike or whatever you want to call it at some point during the race. I know you mentioned to me being concerned after you had done some training on some trails locally that I said were similar. Which were they similar? The ones we practiced on?
Yeah, I'd say in some ways they were easier. In some ways they were also more difficult. I mean, they're more well cut into the landscape, but the hills are a little more difficult. And so, I remember the first day I went out there with you and Katie, I believe it was,
yeah,
that I was so nervous the night before that I got out there like 45 minutes before you guys did. And I was like, I got to get started. And I did one loop, which was 4 miles, and thought I was I did about 5 miles because I missed the start of it technically. So I went back and did that. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing 13 when I did that, because it was really hot that day. And you guys were running it again. I was like, have fun. Like, no. And I went back the next week and did it with my wife, and it went better. Like I was still wiped out, but better. But then the third week, I went back that weekend and I did it. I said, I'm going to do it twice. So I went back by myself and I did 2 loops plus a little bit. So I was just over 11 miles. And that one for me was like, okay, I can do this. And in the time frame I had done it, I was way under 12 hours. So I'm like, okay, A, I can do this, and B, and at that point, that trip, my elevation was right at what this race was going to be.
Right. Yeah.
So that to me was like, all right, I'm not doing this fast, but I can do this. So that was the difference maker.
Yeah. I mean, I think you did really well, personally speaking. What about the trail markings? Because we like to make fun of you for this, but it was a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And honestly, not only was it a legitimate concern, but worst case scenario happened with.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And I was.
Do you want me to go ahead and touch on that?
I was deeply concerned. Yeah. You can go ahead and, we're there, start of the race that morning. I showed you how to put maps on your Garmin and courses.
Yeah. Because I've had my Garmin for 8 years and love it. Like, it's great. But I didn't use it I didn't do trail runs. I didn't use predetermined trails and tracks, even on like road running when I did that. And like, I didn't have any courses ever mapped out. So you kind of showed me, hey, here's how you do all of that. And I still don't love the Garmin Connect app. Like, it's
clunky.
It's very clunky, and it's not the most beautiful thing to get in and work around in. So I don't love that, but being able to load these in was good. Now, my watch is old enough that I'm still limited with some things that I can't do with it. But yeah, so I had the course loaded in, and mine doesn't have, I've got the Phoenix 3, I believe it is, and I don't have like topo map or anything. Like when I have the map up there, it's just, here's the shape of the track. And using that, no big deal. Like if I get off course, it'll be fine. So I'm thinking, all right, between the markings, which were pink, and I'm red-green colorblind. So like red, green, orange, pink, those all just kind of like, I can tell the difference usually, but if they're together, they blend together. And you got to see that firsthand a couple weeks ago at Total Archery Challenge, where they had the course marked with pink ribbons. And I think you were kind of blown away by like how much trouble I had seeing it. Like I think you kind of didn't believe me going into it, but then you saw firsthand. Like
it wasn't that I didn't believe you; it's just that
I didn't know it was that stupid.
I didn't have any experience with it.
Yeah,
I mean, when we were practicing for that, I remember we were picking a point, and I dropped something red on the ground, and you couldn't see it in the grass.
Yeah,
and I mean, but as far as when we were doing that and they had it flagged with pink ribbon, that was the first time I'd ever seen, like, you would walk and then all of a sudden you'd stop and be like, okay, I don't know where to go now.
And when it's pointed out, like once I see it, I can see it, but finding it is the problem. And so between the two, course markings and looking at my watch map, no big deal. Like I can manage this and know like, here's the general area I need to be.
Yeah.
But then when we get out there, I can't get my watch to load. I rebooted it 3 times, and the 4th time I did it was after the race had started. When we were going down that hill to start it, I rebooted it again, and then it was about a half mile in before it actually pick up the course. So, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. If you look at Strava, I don't start and finish at the same spot. I start into the course and then finish at the finish line. But I also told Mickey, I believe was her name.
Yeah. Mickey was one of the race directors, and her husband, Chad.
Yes. I told her after the race, like I explained, hey, I'm colorblind. Here's my situation. And I was like, typically this is hard for me to see. And I said, I was like, you can ask my buddy up there 3 weeks ago. I couldn't see squat when we were doing tack. But I told her, I was like, you guys marked the course very well. I said there was only maybe 3 times where I thought maybe I had missed something because there was a gap between them. But at the same time, there was really only like one particular trail you could be on. So I thought, did I miss something? And then there was a lady standing next to me that had just finished. And she's like, yeah, I kind of had those same 3 spots. But about the time you start questioning, oh, there's one up ahead. So shout out to the race coordinators, Mickey and her husband, for having, I can't remember what the guy's name was that marked it, but she told him.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either, but he marked it last year as well, and he did a really good job both years of marking it. Mine, I mean, I went into it with a goal of trying to run in 2 hours and 15 minutes is what I had told everybody in our little running group that I wanted to do.
You were going for a dub.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody about that, though.
You told me.
Did I tell you before or after?
Yes, you told me before.
Okay. Well,
you said, I think if you hit your goal time, it would have put you close to the winning time last year.
Yeah.
Like very close, like within a minute or 2.
Well, so last year, 2:01 won.
Or second place, maybe it was.
But then second place was at 2:14.
Right.
And of course, you never know who's going to show up. I mean, just because the guy that won last year wasn't running it this year on the registration doesn't mean that somebody else that can run that fast isn't going to be there. But I wanted to give myself an opportunity to potentially be chasing first place.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I did that through the first 9 miles of the race, and then got told I was in 3rd place and behind, and I was like, well... Oh, well. But, 2:15 was the real goal. Didn't get that. It was close.
You were close. I mean, what were you? What was your final?
2:23. is what I finished in. Last year I did it in 250.
So that's a huge...
Yeah, almost 30
improvement.
minutes worth of improvement.
So I guess I never said my goal time. So having never done this before, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I've hiked, I've run, but what do you do when you combine the two? So I didn't know, not knowing the course or anything, I gave myself 6 hours because thinking like, okay, if I start cramping really bad and have to stop at an aid station and like take a little extended break, like you had 12 hours. I thought realistically I could finish this at most 6 hours, and I finished it in 4:40. So like it was, and I know that's still dangerously slow, but at the same time, not knowing, it's exactly like I don't regret. I could look at it and say like 6 hours, like that was an easy goal. I should have made it more difficult, but not knowing what I didn't know, that's what I went with.
Exactly. You went into it blind. I mean, you were concerned.
Colorblind.
That too. Yeah. You were concerned though after you'd done some training and done these training hikes, because I remember like a week before you're like, I'm getting nervous and I don't understand why they give me 12 hours. Like, is this going to take me 12 hours? Because I don't want to be there for 12 hours walking through the forest.
No. I mean, I've spent 12 hours in the forest before, but not doing this. And so, the fact that you had 12 hours kind of made me think like, what am I missing here? Like, I've done this training, and then you were also like very kind of coy with I'd ask about the terrain compared to the practice course, and you're like, well, it's similar, but it's not really, and it's and the elevations at the end, and you were right, but I also kind of worked myself up over that as well, like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect.
And I wasn't trying to be that way with the terrain. It was just that, I hadn't done this in a year at this course. I don't normally run down there. And so trying to remember all the little, there were some steep hills, but a lot of it was rolling compared to the other ones we've done. There is the one steep hill that is absolutely miserable at mile 9 for us. But it wasn't as bad as I remembered it from last year. I think last year it was just because I was so far into the race, and then as soon as I left that aid station, they're like, oh yeah, you go up this giant hill, and it was like, this is my first trail race. I'm exhausted. I didn't know this was coming, and now I have to go up this 1/4 mile long hill that goes up 200 feet of elevation.
Yeah, I didn't because you had told me like, hey, the biggest elevation gain is right after the last aid station and it's at the end. But honestly, it was, don't get me wrong, it was not fun by any means. But for me, I kind of had the opposite feeling because I did know it was coming.
Right.
But I don't think it was as bad as the first hill on the practice trail that we were doing, because that one goes on.
That's about half a mile.
Yeah, it's half a mile. I think in some parts it's steeper.
Yes. And
there's not really any give. Like, there's no really level off points. And on this one, you did have some level off, and then you go back up. So, and then also I think the other piece of it was knowing I've only got 3 miles left. Like, hey, this stinks coming out of an aid station here, but I'm on the downhill side.
Right.
Nope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're going uphill, but you're
the downhill side of the course.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I tried to prepare, it wasn't just you doing this for the first time either. It was quite a few of our running group that were doing it for the first time. And I tried to tell everybody, like, this is kind of what to expect that I remember from last year. But not all of it, of course, gets through. And some of it was probably wrong that I told you guys, but
I don't remember there being, I will say this, it wasn't wrong, but the creeks, there were a lot more creeks than I was expecting, especially that last one. That's like, you're going down into the creek. And luckily we've had a bit of a dry snap, but I could see if we hadn't had the dry weather we've had, that could have been more of an issue for sure. So having that drier weather, that creek I wasn't expecting, especially that last one, because you had a pretty big step up out of it.
Last year on that last creek, I went about knee deep in the water because there was it was dry last year too, but not as dry as this year. And there was no way. I mean, you were getting wet no matter what you did. You were getting a foot wet or something wet unless you just went on and full on leapt across it.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about that going in. So
Yeah, I didn't mention that one. But 2 years ago, they actually had to stop the longer races because we got storms overnight during the race, and there was a section of the course that flooded out. And they had video of it, and it was like, I mean, to the point where there's nobody that was going to be able to walk across it. I mean, not even a chance because it had rained so much, and we got like 2 inches of rain overnight or something. It was something crazy, but that's what happens when you're in the hills, I guess, and you get some rain.
Yeah, it's
and
gotta go
all flows one direction. So I guess I didn't get my goal. I was 7th overall, which I was pretty proud of.
Hold on. I hit the applause sound button. You don't have headphones on, so you couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear that, but okay. Yeah, I was 7th. It was tough. It was challenging. I was holding strong till about 9 miles of that second aid station, and I thought I was in first or second coming into it, and turns out I was in third, and then I ended up with some stomach issues and some calf cramps in those last 3 miles, and decided just to enjoy the scenery of the last 3 miles, which that's the best scenery I thought too. You go across the drawbridge, not really a drawbridge. Suspension bridge kind of.
No, what's the?
No, a swinging bridge.
It's the. What's the name of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're an engineer. You're the engineer. You're supposed to know this.
I know, but anyways, you go across their lake.
Suspension bridge.
That's what I just said. I don't think that's right.
I don't either. It's the one in all the movies where somebody gets halfway across it and somebody on the other side cuts the ropes and it goes flying down.
That's exactly right.
That's what it is.
That's what kind of bridge it is. But it goes across their lake, and it's really pretty. There's also a section right as you're coming back into camp before the bridge where you're...
The rocks?
Yeah, the rocks.
Yes.
It almost makes like a waterfall farther down, and there's... I don't know if they're sandstone or what they were. I kind of looked at them, but they're really pretty. And there's some other little overlooks when you're on that section that are nice. The rest of it, you're kind of in the woods. I mean, you can look down hills and stuff, but you're pretty well in the woods. So, I mean, you already said your goal and how you did. Was there?
It was technically I feel bad saying I beat my goal when someone like you is like, I didn't hit my goal, because my goal, like looking at my goal now, it's kind of pathetic. But, you don't know what you don't know. And
that's, I mean,
the goal next year is to beat this year.
Exactly.
And move up the leaderboard. I want to come. I did not come in last.
No.
And no shame if I did. Like, I went into this fully expecting last place. And I was okay with that because my goal was complete it and finish it. So last place would have been fine. But next year, beat my time, move up the leaderboard. Even if it's just one spot, move up the leaderboard.
Progress is progress. And, I mean, especially when you're talking about something running or trail running, any sort of improvement is a big jump. I mean, I'm ecstatic that I was able to run 30 minutes faster than I did last year, almost 30 minutes. And yeah, I didn't get my goal, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. I've got more races coming up, and I'm notorious.
Bigger races.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I mean, would it have been nice to have ran a 2:15? Absolutely. If I would have really pushed it those last 3 miles, could I have? Yeah, but would I have felt good at the end of it? No. And sometimes that's what it takes, and I just wasn't prepared to do that on Saturday, I guess.
David Goggins is somewhere right now, and he's getting irrationally angry, and he doesn't understand why. And that's just because you put that out in the universe, and he's like, I'm getting mad. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm notorious for setting goals pretty lofty for myself. And usually my wife, Danielle, is pretty good about knocking me back down and being like, are you sure you want to do that? is that really what you want to set your goal at? And that's one of them. She told me, she's like, why don't you shoot for this instead? And I think she said like 230 or something. So I got that one.
Yeah. But you had a huge improvement over last year. So
exactly. There's nothing to be upset
win.
about.
No, absolutely not.
So was there anything surprising aside from the creek that you weren't prepared for, or that you saw it and you were like, oh, that was kind of cool? Or, I mean, other than, of course, beating your goal, and was it as bad as what you thought, I guess, or?
No, I wouldn't say there was anything surprising. The end felt like it would never get there, especially because my watch was so off. Like we kind of figured out going into this that the GPS on my watch is hosed. So, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and upgrade. But, looking at my watch, it's saying here's where I'm at, and I should be done at this point, but I'm not. And of course, at this point, I was getting passed by some of the marathoners, which had started earlier in the day, so they were coming through on their second lap, and they're saying like, hey, you're almost there, you're almost there. Well, one dude's like, you're almost there, and I'm still like, no, I know I'm still like 2.5 miles away. Well, tell me, don't give me hope. Don't do that.
And yeah, but relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking, yes. But the closer I got to the end, as I think four of them, the top four, passed me at some point at the end. And the last one passed on those rocks that you were talking about. And at that point, watch GPS is like, hey, you're there. You're done. But I'm not. So I'm like, okay, how much further? And I kept looking for the bridge because I knew the bridge was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew when I was near the creek, I'm like, okay, it's probably somewhere across here. But you kind of like parallel that creek.
Yeah,
and
for a
weave
while.
across it a little bit. And so that was a little bit of false hope there. But no, the surprising was how far it stretched out. And then also the other thing that wasn't surprising about the race, but my run this morning. So, I'm doing the training plan that I started, and I discovered something this morning about myself as I was running that surprised me, because when I ran years ago and did the triathlon and all the training, I trained a lot for that went into that I never came across this. And then this morning it clicked, and I didn't even realize it Saturday when I was doing the race, but this morning is when it clicked. And that is, and it also caused me to look, not to get deep here, but it caused me to look at other things in my life too and how I handle them. But we all talked about recording some video and stuff going into this. Like I took my phone. I think, did you take you had your camera, your GoPro?
Well, I took it, but I didn't have a good way, unless I would have put it on my hat. I didn't have a good way to wear it without it bouncing, and I really didn't want to put it on my hat. So I ended up leaving it in the car.
Okay.
I did get video of you coming in and Danielle, and I think even Quentin.
Quentin took his though, didn't he?
Yes, Quentin carried his. I haven't seen the footage from it yet, but I probably need to get that from him, because one of us was going to try and work on putting something together just for fun, not anything serious, just fun.
Well, mine's definitely not serious. So the part I discovered, I just used my phone, and I didn't really know what am I going to record? And so I marked every mile. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give myself a check-in of like, hey, here's how you feel. And as the race progressed, it got sillier and sillier and sillier, and a lot more joking, which I tend to be a not too serious person. Like I tend to be the one in the group that kind of cuts up and stuff. But so it wasn't out of the ordinary for me. However, this morning when I was running, I was hurting. Like this is day 2 after the race, and I was so sore. And my legs, as we sit here, my legs still have knots. And this morning I woke up to run. I didn't really want to. I wanted to, but my legs didn't want to. And as I was running, I found myself thinking. Thought about us recording this afternoon. I was thinking about that, and I was just, my mind kept going to funny stuff, and because my legs were hurting so bad that it was like the worse they hurt, the more outlandish my thoughts got about like just goofy stuff. And so I got to thinking about Saturday, and I was kind of recapping the race in my head. And for me, the worst part was miles 8 to 10 were the worst. I was hurting. I was miserable. I was in a lot of pain. Like my feet hurt, my legs hurt, and it just felt like there was no quit. Like I never once got close to, I'm done with this. I don't want to, like, there was no doubt I was going to make it, but I was hurt. I was in a suffer mode right there. And the videos I recorded were just like off the wall silly, but I found myself between the miles, between the recordings, and they're all like less than a minute. When I would finish recording, I would start thinking about what I was going to record at the next mile. And I would start thinking about that. And so then when I got to the next one, I already kind of had it in my head, like, all right, here's what I'm going to say. Like, I feel terrible, but here's what I'm going to say. And then boom, I would record it. I still feel terrible. Let me get to the next one. And then I hit that last aid station. And that kind of gave me I felt better because I still had a ways to go. But the end was in sight. Like I knew, all right, coming out of this aid station is the worst part of the course. But it didn't bother me because I was like, all right, I got 3 miles left. Let's go.
Right.
And so then this morning when I was hurting so bad, I thought back on that and I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about funny stuff to say. And I realized, like, you know what? Some people, I mentioned Goggins earlier. The dude just like anger seems to be his
right.
driving factor, like almost like a hatred of himself to drive him. And that's great. Like that works for him. You got other people that, you know, some people do it. People do it for different reasons. Different things drive them and keep them going. And for me, I think my dig down deep is the humor part of it. Like that's how I manage the suffering. And then I got to thinking, like, even my life, times where, all right, it's a rough patch. Like I'm going through it, whether it's work, whatever, sick. Like I do tend to focus on humor.
Right.
And I know I always tend to lean towards humor, but it kind of clicked this morning that, you know what? I realized that I was coping Saturday, and I was doing that to cope with how bad I was hurting and how miserable I felt. And and then I started thinking back to races the triathlon. Mm-hmm. That was the other athletic feat that I suffered through that. But I thought about some of the stuff I did in that race that I managed with humor, and it was funny. And so it was just an interesting tidbit that I, discovered about myself.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't really know off the top of my head of anything that I do to cope. I know I tend to lean more towards not necessarily the Goggins motto per se, but if somebody's telling me that I can't do something, that motivates me more than like, oh yeah, you're doing a good job. Yeah, keep it up. Like,
unless it's Danielle who says you can't hit your time and then she brings you back down.
Yeah.
Wives, we need them to keep us in check.
She usually knows better than I do anyways. So, that's part of it. But no, Saturday, I did something different. I've tried a lot of things over the last few years of my endurance running. And one of the things that I've done pretty consistently is like if something starts hurting, like say my knee starts hurting, or like you said, your feet or whatever, I'll be like, okay, I acknowledge that. Oh, well, like we're not done yet. We still have a race to run. Like, yeah, it hurts, but is it going to stop me? No. And so this time, instead of doing that, I did more of I'm just going to shut my brain off and just go. And whatever happens, happens. Like if something starts hurting, kind of but I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm just going to focus on, okay, where's the next marker? Oh, that's a cool tree down over the path. That's really annoying.
Dude, one of those, I had to like sit on it and swing my legs over. And when I sat on it, I'm like, this is kind of comfortable.
I could stop right here.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that it was nice out either, but
It did help that it was nice out.
no, I mean, as far as the sitting and wanting to stay there.
Oh, yeah.
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 No.
Give me a
We
22
lucked
and
out
sit
for
here and shoot some squirrels.
August in Southern Illinois and having a 50-degree morning to take off for a race.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't happen. But yeah, so overall, I mean, I had a good experience again this year. Dave's Bagels was there, food truck that's local to us, and Grills Bagels. That was good. You got a free bagel.
Yep.
Weather was good. Everybody seemed to have a good time. I'm going back next year. Are you going back next year?
You asked me Saturday. You're like, are you going to do it again next year? And I said, like, I had just finished, and I said, ask me when I'm not hurting so bad. And I actually kind of hurt worse today. So, but no, I plan on doing it again next year. Like, actually, they open up the sign-ups today. So
registration open today.
I think I've convinced the Mrs. the Hut to get out there and do it with us. So I think we may sign up.
I think I'm going to have to do something bigger next year.
You're not doing it? Oh, you're doing it, but doing...
Yeah, I'm going to have to... going into it this year, I'd already made up my mind that I wanted to do the 50K next year. Part of me wanted to do it this year, and almost like up to like a week before the race was still considering switching to the 50K. Which I ultimately didn't because I wanted to see how well I could do in the half. Next year, we're going to have to do at least the 50K. Maybe even bigger.
And by we, you mean you?
Yeah, I've already gotten a lot of pushback in the running group. I don't know that I'm going to be able to convince anybody on this one to join me on any of the races.
If I was Leslie, I'd never do it again. Go out on top. Like
yeah, Leslie ran good. She was first overall female. Normally, she is ahead of me. I don't know what kind of happened there. I guess I just felt good and ran, but I think I trained on trail more than what she did. I think that was
you
a
went
lot
out
of it.
to the. You did that several times, like I did, but you did more than me even.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue to do that because I've got some upcoming stuff. You're kind of in training mode, just in general.
I'm in training, trying to get back into shape, and then also I have 2 kids that are in the midst of their sports seasons right now, and I'm coaching both of those, and so that eats up a lot of because there's a bunch of archery events around that I'm wanting to do, but they're all like smack dab during football games and football season.
And hunting season's coming up, and that's going to take up time. And
so, what's your next one?
Next one is in about 2.5 weeks, which is not fun to say, being this sore. The last Boy Scout, which is the trail that we've been practicing on for this race this past weekend. It's a 4.2 mile loop, last man standing race, which I have never done before. I got talked into it by a buddy to do.
There's a pattern there.
Yeah, it's contagious.
So go ahead and put your goal out there.
Goal is a 50K. For those of you that don't know what a last man standing race is, we'll probably talk about it on another episode, maybe in a week or two, depending on how often we decide to record these and what our schedules look like. But we'll try to get one in before that race and explain more of what it is and what I'm wanting to do. But 50K is the goal in that one, which would be 8 laps-ish. It's actually like 7.5-ish laps, but there's no halves. You got to do the whole thing, otherwise it doesn't count. After that, a couple weeks after that, we've got another half marathon on the road. Goal there is a 151, which is my PR in the road half is a 203 right now. So that'd be a pretty big jump as well.
Have you run that past the missus?
Yes. Yeah,
she's good with that time?
She's good with it. Okay. Leslie's goal is actually that too. So we're doing a training plan. Well, we were in a half marathon training plan, and now that, as well as we did over the weekend, we've kind of switched modes, and we're also signed up for the St. Jude Marathon in December.
So that would be my next one.
Yeah, and you're talking about 5K, 10K in that one.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. I got a lot more training to do before then, but yeah, 5K, 10K. But I mean, that's what, 4 months?
Yeah,
away,
it's beginning
so
of December.
3 months. So I've got time to prep and get ready. I just don't know if a road race is that like this. You're seeing scenery, you're up and down. You have to watch your step. There's more there to like keep my interest. Where, that one you're just running on the road. I don't know that that's my cup of tea necessarily, but I'll see.
I like the trail better personally. It beats you up more for sure. Like my ankles are like shot today from stepping weird, and I did almost face plant into a creek Saturday. That was probably the scariest stumble that I've had while running trails, because I was going to go face first downhill into this creek, and it was a rock bottom creek, and it was not going to feel good. But I didn't. I was able to get those quick feet moving underneath me and saved it and got through it. And I was like, well, that could have been bad, but it wasn't. We'll go on to the next thing. But yeah, lots of stuff coming up. I think that's all I got for today. I don't have anything else really from the race. I had a good time.
Good time. Looking forward to the next one. I may do like a challenge, like one of the Halloween pumpkin run challenges or something like that. The kids are wanting to do something, so they're actually going to do a kids run in 2 weeks with Amy.
Oh, really? That's cool.
She's doing like a twilight race.
Yeah,
and they're going to do the kids run, and so I may do like a challenge between now and December, but I don't think it'll be I'm not going to do an organized race. It may be like a virtual something, and then St. Jude be the next actual one. And then I want to do a triathlon again next year, a sprint triathlon. I'm going to keep working on you to do that with me.
I'm going to have to break out the floaties if I do that.
You can just grab onto me. That swim's actually one of my strong points. So.
But no, if that's all you got, I think we've got one last thing to say. I really don't know what it means or why they say it, but I know it's a celebratory thing. And anytime anybody signs up, for the Shawnee race, they put it on their Facebook page, and they put a big heapwa, and that's what they say down at Camp Ondasonk at camps with the kids, and it's kind of just celebratory term. You said you couldn't say it. You wouldn't say it that morning until you finished the race, and I've yet to hear you say it. So
there you go, heapwa. There you go. I don't know what it means. I may have just like cursed in Native Americans. I don't know, but yeah, heapwa. I think it means like hello, like blessings.
We'll have to look it up.
Something like that. But
maybe next episode we'll have a definition.
Yes, but it's nothing bad. It is nothing. It's nothing bad.
No.
And then just keep on chafing. Keep
That's
on chafing
right.
at the aid stations.
Yeah, chafing at them, in between them, before them, whatever. Chafing at the aid station podcast.
Yep, and I need Garmin. I got to get a new Garmin because this one's busted.
Yeah, it needs some work. You don't want to be out there and not have your maps again.
No. 970, Forerunner 970. I've about decided that's what it's going to be. So, Garmin, if you're listening,
if you would like to be a sponsor of a podcast where 3 people are going to listen, maybe 3 people.
Well, there's 7 people in our running group. 2 of them are us, so there's 5.
Yeah,
and my wife will listen. She'll at least tell me she listened.
That's what counts, right?
Right.
Make you feel good.
Mm-hmm. The analytics.
All right. Well, signing off this week with the Chafing at the Aid Station podcast.
Heapwa and keep on chafing.
Chafing